Hi, this is Mrs. Hatterberg for MNVA U.S. History. Today we're talking about the Semester 2 research project for Unit 2, and we're starting with the 2.01 assignment of choosing a research topic. It doesn't need to be as daunting as it might sound because I don't want you today, right now, to think about your final project. What we're going to ask you to create is a final product that's going to be equivalent to something that's a 3-page research project, although you'll still have many different options. So right now, I don't want you to think about that because if you're thinking about the end product, you're going to get too bogged down with anxiety about how and what you're going to create. Today, I want you to think about what you're interested in. So your assignment is found here on page 2.01, choosing a research topic, on page 7 of the content. And your assignment, you will choose an event or an action in U.S. history before 1900 that you believe was a turning point. We're going to talk a little bit about what a turning point means in just a second, but I do want to highlight the fact that as your teachers, we've decided that a lot of important information and a lot of turning points happen in the 20th century. So we're extending this maximum date here that the content says of 1900, we're extending that to 1965. So you can pick an event that is a turning point of anything from the start of America as a country all the way to 1965. Anything in there that interests you and you want to research. Your project will describe the event or action and explain why it is a turning point. Okay, so I want to highlight here that this project is not just a report. It's not just a book report where you read or research on a topic and report the facts. We want you to think about it. We want you to analyze the situation, analyze the facts, and comment on them. And tell us, why was this specific event a turning point for U.S. history? How did it change the trajectory of U.S. history and make today, our society today, different than it would have been if this event never had occurred? What happened because of it? In what new direction did the nation or the world move as a result of it? Did people at the time realize that a turning point had been reached, or did it take time to assess the impact of the event or action? And because of this, because usually it does take time to look back and see what history will make of that event, that's why we're setting the deadline at 1965. So for instance, you can't choose an event like 9/11, September 11th, because while everybody would probably argue that that was a turning point for American history, we don't truly know. We're still too close to that event to know the overall impact of what that event will say and how it will change America. We're still too close. So, in another 20 years, that would be a good event to study, but we're going to stick to everything 1965 and prior. Okay, so how do you pick your topic? Selecting a topic is where you're going to gradually narrow down the areas that you're interested in until you find something of manageable size. If you pick something that's too broad, which usually happens, and usually when students submit their first ideas of their topic selection is usually the problem. I'd say, this is too broad, we need to narrow it. Because if you get something that's too broad, you're going to have all of this information, and you've got to narrow it down to a 3-page research paper or something similar. And it's just way too much information. You could write an entire college dissertation on that. So what you're going to do is you have this topic selection worksheet that you can download here from page 8 of your content. And I have it up, not that one, right here, topic selection worksheet. So you can go through these 9 questions that will help you narrow your topic and narrow your level of interest. So, for example, the example here starts with an interest in politics. Okay, let's narrow that down to just one specific theme. Okay, the theme of equal rights. All right, let's narrow that down to a topic of women's suffrage. Now, if you stopped here, that's where a lot of you get to, and you stop here, that's still too big of a topic. What specifically about women's suffrage do you think was the turning point? And what specifically do you think was important of women's suffrage? So then the issue that this person is researching is ratification of the 19th Amendment. Now, for lack of creativity, we've seen a lot of projects submitted on women's suffrage and ratification of the 19th Amendment. Now that's not wrong, but is that truly your level of interest, or are you just doing what's easy because it was already listed out in the example? Okay, so I'm going to challenge you to not pick women's suffrage and to not specifically pick the ratification of the 19th Amendment. Think outside the box. What is your interest at? So you're going to go through this topic selection worksheet. What historical events or time periods most interest you? How do these events fit within the turning point? How was America changed? If America wasn't changed because of this event, that's not the topic to pick. You need to move on to something else. So your preliminary topic is, okay, is your preliminary topic specific enough to provide an in-depth study, or is it too broad to provide a general overview? When you submit your 2.01 assignment, that's what we are going to be looking at. And if we ask you to revise it, it's only because one of these, that it's either not specific enough or too broad because you're going to have way too much information to be able to narrow it all down in a project. So I want you to think, you're going to start thinking about a final project topic. Now you can go ahead and change this later, although that's just going to put you further out. Don't make too much of a deal of this. This isn't a huge semester-long project. It is a 17-day project. Okay, so just pick something. You want to be interested in it because you will enjoy the research more. However, don't get too hung up on it. Just pick something and go with it. All right, so this is the actual 2.01 graded assignment here, and you can download that on the last page of the content. But this is where you will write your topic idea and why do you think your topic is an example of a turning point in America. This is a big thing. We're going to look at your answer here. Why was it a turning point? If you can't answer that already on this worksheet, how are you going to write a paper about it? Okay, so that's what we're looking for. It's not just a report, it's an analysis of a turning point. And what's your working title? So working title means that right now, off the top of your head, what's the title that you're going to prove? You can change this later. And what presentation format have you chosen? So you'll look through the various formats, which I'll talk about in my next video that you have open to you. And what do you think you're going to aim for? Which one suits you the best? And again, you can change that later. And then also, here is a breakdown of eras in American history. This will be available in both doc sharing and then posted in the course. And I think probably we'll K-mail it out too. But the breakdown of the eras in American history, this is going to help you. This goes through each chapter of the textbook and brings out big events that happen. So if you really liked reading about one of these and would like to know a little bit more, one of these probably could be seen as a turning point in U.S. history. Now remember, this goes all the way up to 1965. So this is just some of the things that you could talk about. And here is a document that has 5 pages on it full of possible topic selections. I would start here. Go through this. We've already put it together for you. Go through this and see what interests you. If you need any help, make sure you contact one of your teachers and we can help you select and narrow down a topic. It's better to get started now, narrow that topic, select it, and then get started on your project. All right, thank you.